Hello, everybody. I hope that you're doing an amazing or having an amazing day. Um, Welcome to another episode of Be Fearless podcast. Today, we had a special guest, but unfortunately, this guest having some health issues. So I hope that she's feeling better and we will have her on our next season. Okay, so that's why you have me today, just me. Isn't that awesome? Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much um, for your support, especially to the people. I'm gonna give it a shout out today to the people in Germany, specifically the city of Hees, Germany. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. But hey, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. It is really an honor for me that you guys can hear me in that side of the world. And I hope that I get to go visit next year. Also, I want to give another shout out to the people in Australia. You guys are awesome. You guys rock my world. Thank you so much for your support, specifically my audience from South Australia and New South Wales. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Your support is so valuable for me, and I do appreciate you. And I am so happy that you love the content of the podcast. So thank you so much. Another thing that I want to say is that if you haven't noticed, you guys can support me by sharing or giving me some stars here on Facebook. So if you are watching from Facebook, make sure that you go in and click into facebook.com/stars. Buy some stars if you don't have any. And if you have some, thank you so much for your stars. I really appreciate it. Now, today's topic is let's talk about emotional intelligence. We rarely talk about this. We always talking about, professional improvement, growth, like, how I become a better leader, how I can be a better boss, how I can be a better employee. But we rarely talk and touch on the subject of emotional intelligence, which is amazing and very important topic to talk about. And intelligence actually pertains to the individual's ability to recognize, right? Control and assess emotions. That's what emotional intelligence is. It's your capability to recognize your emotions, have control of them over them, assess them in order to serve better in your position in every area of life. This is not only for, you know, to be applied in your job, is to be applied on every area of your life, in your spiritual life, in your personal life, in your professional area of growth. So, paying attention how you can recognize those emotions, how learn how to control them and actually work with them on daily basis. um, I think this is a very important because every aspect of our lives, uh, if you think about human dynamics, every area of our lives definitely need of us to exert this emotional intelligence. Now, how do I control, right? How do I control or practice or improve my emotional intelligence? Or are some tips that you can actually find in my book, Dauntless Creating Your Blueprint for Success. So I have several points here that you guys can read and actually can practice to improve your emotional intelligence on daily basis. The number one is, and this is, I think, the most difficult thing to do, is accept criticism and accept responsibility for your actions and your emotions. That's something that, let's face it, let's be honest, we have so much difficulty doing so these days. especially with the craziness going out there. It is so difficult for us to accept criticism, even if it's like a comment online. Have you had, a post something in your social media and then somebody comments something, but then you took it the wrong way? Or they actually hurt your feelings and then you just backslash at them? I have had it happens to me. It had happened. Um, but how do you control that? How do you accept? Have you stopped for a second and say, hey, did am I really this way? Am I really acting this way? Is that behavior something? Just take a moment before reacting and kind of like process that critic. And if it's something you just drop the ball in your work, in your home, in your relationship, and your with your clients, your business, accept responsibility for it and see how you can improve it. Okay, so daily basis, if you accept that criticism and then accept that responsibility and see, number one, before, if you take um any opinions specifically on if I'm right or and they're wrong, think about it. It's not about, you might be right, but might be observing something that you just like slacking on that you may be improved. So take that always as a moment to assess yourself and say, hey, is this something that needs to be improved? Because those improvements always comes out and always have an impact in everything else that you do. All right. So then moving forward after making a mistake, a lot of people has so much problem moving forward after making a mistake. And that is because that thing that happened, that event plays in so many ways in your brain that you're running the different scenarios. I should have seen this. I should have said that. I should have said this way. I should have done this. I should have told them to go and F up, right? Um, so think about it. Sometimes the better thing to do is just let it go. Just let it go. Maybe it's not you. Maybe there's the people that is coming after you with a certain comment or something that happened is because they're having a rough day. They're also dealing with their emotional intelligence, their issues, and they just happen to be on you, that they discharge all those emotions, but at the same time it could be you. It's like a two-way street. This situation can go in both ways. So it's always good to take a moment and just like let it go. Just let it go. Just move forward. And if you made the mistake or they made the mistake, just move forward. Just let it go. That's the best way I can describe it. Just let it go. Be empathic, right? Empathy is so low. It's so low these days. I mean, a lot of people have lost their capability to be empathic, and sometimes is all it takes to solve a situation. So take a moment to be empathic. Just put yourself in that other person's situation or shoes and for a moment and try to understand what they're going through before you jump into them and say whatever you're going to say or act the way that you're going to act. Say no when you need to. That's another problem that we have that affects our emotional intelligence, is that we don't know when to say no. Right? So when you learn to say no, you not only protect themselves from your lack of performance in a job or dropping the ball on something, or you're also protecting yourself from becoming overwhelming. So sometimes no is the answer. And you don't need to feel guilty about it. Um, so say no when you have to. The other thing is communicate your feelings with others. Sometimes we just bottle things up, and we don't say anything until we cannot hold things anymore. I have learned, and I learned years ago, that the best thing you can do is to tell people um, the truth and say what you have to say when you have to say it right there in the moment. But also by being cautious when you do it, and also being uh, careful with your words, so you don't get your words taken the wrong way, right? But you need to communicate your feelings. You need to let the other person know what's going on. Okay, let them know, listen, you hurt my feelings, or listen, I'm feeling left out, you're not giving me the job or the work that I'm looking for. I don't think that I'm being productive in this company, or um, I'm in this position, but I'm overworking myself doing somebody else's work, and I'm not getting paid for it. I mean, just say it. But be very conscious of the wording and how you say things. But it's important that you communicate your feelings with others. Either, it doesn't matter, it is your boss, if it's your partner, your husband, your wife, whoever it is. Recognize the next thing is recognize the why behind your actions. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you behaving this way? Why are you having this emotion? um why why are you thinking this way? uh the power of our thoughts and our words is immeasurable, because there's so much power in everything that we do and we say. um so be very conscious of your why before you act. Ask, why I'm acting this way, why I'm thinking about doing what I'm doing. That's part, you guys, of being emotionally intelligent. You need to know why I'm embarking on this entrepreneurship, why I am embarking on this trip somewhere, what I have to go now. Am I leaving on the right moment? Am I leaving my family behind? Am I being selfish? Sometimes it's okay to be selfish, right? But sometimes you need to learn when you're really selfish, because it's a way to protect your sanity. And there always, you the times that when you need to be conscious of why your selfishness has to be in place in order to protect you and your interest in your business and whatever else that you do. So ask about your why, recognize it, right? Do not be judgmental of others. That's another thing that brings us emotional intelligence, and that's something that today we can see a lot, is the judgment that people can pass over other people, based on social media, based on, right, the interaction at work or any other place, the relationships with others. um, Sometimes it's good to, instead of judging, sometimes you have to stop and think before you're going to pass that judgment, or you're going to, like, say, tell other people you are this, and pointing at them, right? um, make sure that that judgment or those words have to be said. Sometimes you may be talking to a person that's going through a rough path in their life, and your words can be the judgment that can trigger them to jump off a roof, or take their life, a home, or kill somebody else. So be careful when you pass judgment. And that's, you guys, another way to practice emotional intelligence is to assess your thoughts, your words, what you're saying every day, and be sure that You are not passing judgment on others. The next thing, and I promise we'll be done soon. The next thing is find common ground and solutions to problems. That's a huge thing. Um, I can remember exactly. Yes, I know. Salma Hayek. On an interview recently, she was asked, why do you think your marriage has lasted so long? And she said, and without hesitation, without overthinking, without trying to find an answer, like automatically it came out of her so naturally that I was like, she's definitely being truthful and 100% honest about this answer. It was, when a problem approaches between me and my husband, instead of pointing at each other to say who is at fault, we find a solution to the problem. We don't try to find out who's guilty about it or who caused it. And I found that so amazing. I mean, for them to last, I mean, for her to answer about her relationship with her husband and saying that that's the reason why their relationship has lasted for so long. It was that they find common ground and solution to the problem that they had in hand instead of fighting each other. And that's something that we need to learn to do every day. Sometimes when things happen, you know, the first thing that we do is to try to find the guilty party. Who is guilty of it? Because usually we are really late on accepting our faults. And as human, our nature is like defend ourselves and say, hey, it wasn't me. But then later you think quietly when you're alone and say, hey, yeah, it might be me. But would you be willing to accept your guilt or take responsibility? You see the cycle here? That's why finding common ground and solutions to problems and practicing that on a daily basis will help you strengthen and grow your emotional intelligence. Last but not least, the last point I'm going to make about how to practice emotional intelligence on a daily basis: have an excellent listening skills. Have excellent listening skills. We don't listen to each other. That's 99.9% correct. We don't listen to each other. We always point it at we point it at the other person. We always we listen to react, not comprehend or understand. And when you tune your listening skills and work with them and listen before saying anything or taking any actions, then you're strengthening your emotional intelligence. You growing those skills that are so necessary for success and so important to connect with other people, to create healthy behavioral patterns, growth skills and abilities, and strengthen your non-cognitive and cognitive competencies. So that's all I have to say today and talk about emotional intelligence. If you want to go over in deep about what else I say in emotional intelligence, you guys can go and buy my book, Dauntless Creating Your Blueprint for Success. The cover has been updated in Amazon. I think that it should be updated by now. I think the new cover was made a couple of days ago. I haven't checked if it was already uploaded and approved, but if you still see this cover, that's my book. If not, you're gonna see a picture of me in front of the cover, but it's the same title, Dauntless: Creating Your Blueprint for Success, available in Amazon. Don't forget to go and grab your copy, and you can read more about emotional intelligence in my book. It's a short chapter, but it's very concise and very rich in information, and I think it's gonna help you a lot on your journey as an entrepreneur and getting into the best version of yourself. All right. So, I see a comment here. Oh, what do I have? Oh, my eye. Don't get me started. I have an eye dye, and it was really bad last week. I mean, it's getting better. Today woke up better, but still there. And my visibility is kind of like awful. So I'm using just this one eye, really. But it's yeah, it's painful. But anyway, yeah, thank you for asking. Hopefully I'll be better from my next episode. You'll see me all dolled up and with makeup and all that, like I usually I'm here. But again, thank you to my listeners in Germany and Australia. You guys rock. Thank you so much for subscribing. Don't forget to go into YouTube and subscribe to the channel so you can replay the video. You can also find us in Amazon, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Podbean, Google Podcast. Oh my gosh, we pretty much everywhere. There's just one place that I'm trying to get into before 2022 ends, and let's see if we can make it there. I will make the announcement when that approval and application comes through. I mean, approved, right? So yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, my gratitude for every one of you is endless, and I am so thankful for being here with you, and share my knowledge, my experience, and bring you the success stories of many other people that have gone from ordinary to extraordinary, and you can get the opportunity to inspired, to get motivated, and to become a better version of yourself. Until next time, don't forget to unlock your potential and be fearless. Bye.